Tom Jenkins, CEO of ETOA, the European Tourism Association.
Tom, thanks for joining us here at Breaking Travel News at ITB Berlin. Give us a bit of a recap on what you just talked about in the panel.
Well, we were just discussing how long-haul travel really is bouncing back for Europe, particularly in North America, which is really showing a boom at the moment. We've seen lots of pent-up demand. Part of that's fueled by tour credits, because people had a lot of money stored up on tours in 2019, plus a lot of pent-up demand, which really has manifested itself, not so much in 22, but in 23, we're seeing it come through very, very strongly. So much so that some is even being carried into 24. So pent-up demand for the United States means that 23, for some of my members, is going to be ahead of 2019. The focus I was touching on was what the prospects are for Asia, and we think that China, with the relaxation of controls of people leaving China in January and the gradual relaxation of testing requirements in Europe, means that we will see a reasonably strong recovery from China this year. Won't be anything like 2019 levels, but it will be at least 25 to 40% off that figure, which is a lot more than we've had in the last 2 to 3 years. We expect to have something that looks like a full recovery from China and from Asia generally in 2024.
What are the levers and what are the barriers that we see looking forward?
Well, we're saying this because there's such strong demand, but there are some tricky points. No one will have missed the fact that there is a land war in Europe. No one will have missed the fact that there's a lot of displacement in Europe, which is occupying quite a significant proportion of bed space throughout Europe. No one will have missed the fact that there is a major problem in terms of supply throughout the European service economy. So these are things which we think are going to get eased over the next 12 to 18 months. We're also a little bit worried about the economy. We're worried about inflation. All these things are barriers against prospective growth. And yet, demand is there. People want to travel. People are willing to spend. So we'll see recovery, I'm sure.
And with that demand, is it even across kind of economy, business first? I mean, what are you seeing there?
Well, initially we saw people spending money on travelling in style. I think they've been cooped up for 3 years and wanted to go out large. I think what we're seeing in reality is that people are being a little bit more careful with their money, and we're seeing, certainly in terms of flights, we're seeing the demand in the economy section. Now, when it comes to luxury hotels, interesting question. I think you will find that people, if they're travelling long haul, if they're Americans, probably will go for upmarket properties. Asia traditionally, and it's wrong to generalize perhaps like this, but traditionally Asia, it's not the best buy luxury in Europe if you're coming from Asia. Europe is a unique offer. Luxury is not a unique offer. You can buy that in Asia, and you can buy it very effectively. So traditionally, it's not necessarily the very top end. Tends to get sold in those areas.
And can you look at it, at a kind of continental level, or can you kind of zero in a bit in terms of kind of specific markets? Who's leading the way? Who's lagging behind? What's hot? What's not?
Well, what's hot, I'm afraid, I wish I could say something different. What's hot is what's always hot, which is the traditional premier bucket list destinations. We've been hoping and we've been trying to promote less cherished destinations than the obvious obvious lead ones, and the obvious lead ones in some ways don't need any promotion. But on the whole, the visitors at the moment, particularly the first-time visitors, want to see the Parises, they want to see the Romes, Florence, Venices, Lucernes, Amsterdams. These are the premier places that people want, together with London, which is a new appendix to the European offer.
And you've obviously given us a really good flavour of 23, and you've started to give us a bit of a flavour for early 24. How far can you look forward?
Well, only a reckless man would try and make long-term predictions to the travel industry after what we've just come out of. And you want me to be reckless? I think you're going to see an increased This is genuine. You will see an increased interest in sustainability. I think at the moment it's very much a top-down offer. I think you're going to start to see people taking it seriously at the consumer level, and the moment it gets serious at the consumer level, then it gets very serious all around. I think you're going to find that you will see a way of coping with demand in main destinations. At the moment it's slightly infantile, a reaction that people have like, oh, there are lots of people, that's terrible. You live in a city. Cities are made for lots of people. The question is, how do you cope and how do you distribute them around the place? This is a general plea for more sense and cohesion within the travel industry. Maybe that's even more reckless than making a prediction.
Thank you for being reckless, Tom. Great to have you here.
Okay, thank you.